Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we're talking about, we're reading from a book called The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. The subtitle is The Missing Ingredient to the Secret. The missing ingredient to the secret. And this book is once again by Michael William Denney. I am a fan of his books and his works. I follow him. He is my mentor, and so yeah, he is one of very few great teachers. I mean, really is, and can't say enough good things about him. So if you're interested in his works, you can Google his name, Michael William Denney. You can go to michaelwilliamdenney.com, or you can just go check him out, his books on Amazon. So anyway, in addition to all his good stuff, I have my own book here called Tantric Secrets of Vedic Astrology, and basically that is a guide to help you understand Vedic astrology and help you to understand kind of my style of Vedic astrology, where it's not so much about predictions or things like that. It's about identifying the deities and planets that want to work with you and things like that. So anyway, I am a Vedic astrologer. I do Vedic astrology readings, so you can check those out. All my products, courses, services, everything that you can imagine is on my website, gebotheshaman.com. So go check that out. Alright, well, let's get into it. Jump right in. Alright. The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. The missing ingredient to the secret. Let's see here. Alright. First chapter. There is only one commandment. In this book, I will share with you the one and only thing you will ever need to accomplish in life. The answer to all of life's problems is amazingly simple. Everyone can achieve complete fulfillment and mastery in their lives if they follow this one very simple commandment. The good news is that you have already been pre-wired by the universe from birth to naturally follow this commandment. So there's nothing you need to learn. But it is very possible that you may have to unlearn a few things. Most of us born in the developed world have been heavily indoctrinated against following this one commandment to living a perfect life. Most of us from birth have been taught to unlearn our natural ability to follow this one principle, which creates our perfect life. Once I spell out exactly what the one commandment to living your perfect life is, the rest of this book is designed to help you unlearn the incorrect beliefs that you have been taught, and to reconnect you with your inborn ability to instantly create everything that you want in your life. And once you understand once you understand and accept that following this one commandment will give you absolutely everything in life, and you consciously choose to follow it, the universe will bow down to serve you. Everything in your life will align itself to give you everything you desire. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong tab. There we go. Alright, I know this sounds unbelievable, but that you can have everything you want, that you can have a perfect life. By perfect life, I mean exactly that. Perfect. Perfect health, prosperity, happiness, fulfillment, love, excitement, and adventure, whatever perfect means to you. Once I began to practice this secret commandment in my own life, everything in my world began to get better and better. It is still continuing to get better and better as I continue to surrender to the idea that I really can have absolutely everything I desire. When I understand the secret commandment, circumstances begin to slowly line up for me in a seemingly magical fashion. I would ask myself, what do I want in this area of my life? As long as I was honest about exactly what I wanted and accepted it completely and trusted the universe to give it to me, it would then appear in my life. Sometimes my intention would appear immediately, or perhaps it took a little while, but it would always appear exactly as I intended it, sometimes even better than I imagined. So what is the one and only commandment that you must follow in order to have a perfect life? The one commandment to a perfect life is follow your deepest passion. Really? That's it? Follow your deepest passion? Are you kidding me? I know, you have heard this before, but what you haven't heard is that from the universe's perspective, and from the perspective of your eternal soul, this is not a suggestion. It is a commandment. That means that you must obey your inner desires to the letter. You cannot you cannot compromise or skimp. This can make some people nervous, but don't worry. You don't have to follow anyone else's expectations of you. You only have to follow your own deepest desires. The only problem we encounter in connection to the secret commandment is if we stop ourselves from having what we really want in life. But you must be honest about what you really want and be willing to take action to fulfill those desires. We are commanded by our own souls to follow our deepest passions. If we refuse to follow this commandment, to follow our deepest passions, we run the risk of experiencing negative consequences. Negative consequences can be things like emotional issues, depression, anxiety, fear, anger, etc., financial distress, and even physical illness. In order to reap the benefits of this universal commandment, you have to obey your true desires without compromise. Many people fail in this area of obeying this commandment to the letter. I know I did for many years. We compromise on our passions. We pursue our passions half-heartedly, or we minimize our ideal fantasy life. Or worse yet, we may not even consciously know what our true passions are. We make deals with ourselves like, I'll follow my dreams later when I make enough money, only to discover that the money is never enough. And before we know it, we're in our 50s and still never followed our dreams. In some cases, people know exactly what their passions are, but they choose to reject pursuing them out of some mistaken belief that their passions are silly, impractical, or wrong in some other way. Perhaps their parents shamed them out of following their passion. Perhaps their teachers or religious ministers shamed them out of their passions. For whatever reason, they chose against following their deepest joys in order to gain someone else's approval. The bad news in this case is that if we choose against following our deepest passions, we become out of alignment with our own soul and our own inborn destiny. If we choose, whether consciously or unconsciously, to reject our soul's deepest passions, we create an internal conflict with ourselves that will remain unresolved until we consciously choose to follow our deepest joy. This internal conflict can be very destructive to us on many levels. It is not my intention to create fear, but I have seen in both my own life and the lives of many others that when someone is in conflict with themselves about following their deepest passions, they can become unhappy, depressed, and even very physically ill. This is why I say that the secret commandment is not a suggestion, it is a command. It is your spiritual destiny. If you disobey your internal command, your inborn destiny to live your happiest life, you will, at some point, suffer negative consequences from your choice to deny yourself your dreams. But if you choose to obey your soul and follow unreservedly those things that bring you joy, bring you your deepest joys, you can realign yourself with your soul and have absolutely everything you have ever wanted. You can have your perfect fantasy life, guaranteed. If making ourselves deliriously happy is the answer to all our problems, why are so many people miserable? The answer is simple. Because of fear. We often fear our own success. I remember reading somewhere that our biggest fear is not the fear of failure, but the fear of success. For many of us, it is easier to allow ourselves to fail in life in order to save us the disappointment if we fail. We understand failure, but what will happen to us if we succeed? So ask yourself, are you following your deepest joy, or have you compromised? Have you compromised on your deepest fantasy? Many of us at some point in our lives compromised on what we really wanted. We go after what we think we should want. We go after what we think we should be doing in life. We accept less in our relationships, our careers, our health, etc. Or we allow ourselves to go after only what we think we can realistically expect from life. We may have doubts that the universe wants to give us our deepest desires. We may have negative feelings about our deepest passions. This is very normal. But what if your craziest, most unrealistic fantasy, the thing that you really truly wish you could have, was available to you? Would you take it? Would you be surprised how many people, when given the opportunity to have everything they've always wanted, will reject it in favor of something unsatisfying? But the good news is that you can always, at any time, no matter how old or young you are, choose to follow your deepest passion and create your ultimate fantasy life. As simple as this commandment is, to follow your deepest passion to the letter, I have found, not only through my own experience, but through the experience of others, that implementing the secret commandment might be quite confusing and difficult at first. The problem here lies in a major misconception. The problem here lies in a major misconception we have in our modern society. We do not believe we deserve to be truly happy. Many people do not believe that the universe will grant them their deepest desires, so they compromise with themselves. So even though you may think that you know that the secret, So even though you may think that you know this secret commandment already, if you're like me, or like most everyone else in the world, you will probably have to change the way you relate to the universe in order to get the full benefit of your deepest desires. This is where the shamanic understanding comes in. The shamanic view of reality and your place in the universe is very different than what you have probably learned from your parents, teachers, and ministers. I think I can help you change your thinking about who you are and your role in the universe. The remainder of this book is dedicated to helping you change the way you think about yourself and your relationship to the infinite universe, so that you can instantly and effortlessly align yourself to the universe in such a way that whatever you desire will instantly begin to manifest for you. First, let me tell you how I found this secret commandment and how I implemented it in my life. Alright, give me a sec, guys. Alright. Chapter 2, How I Discovered the Secret Commandment. I discovered the secret commandment to a perfect life for myself during one of the most depressing and difficult periods in my entire life. My desperate circumstances forced me into following this commandment. It started with me going through a sudden and devastating life change. As a result of my sudden life changes, I had begun following this one commandment to a perfect life without even realizing it. As my old life began to fade away, and seemingly against all odds, this new amazing life began to coalesce for me. I began to ask myself what I had done to create such a wonderful transformation in my life, and slowly the answer began to emerge. What had led up to my understanding of the secret commandment came from a very difficult life lesson. I had just gone through a very painful and sudden divorce. I lost everything: my brand new 2-story house, my martial arts studio, my business, my friends, my dog, my wife, my security. Everything. I was broke and two breaths away from being homeless. I only had my car and whatever I could fit into it. I had no place to go. I had no idea what I was going to do. At the time of my divorce from my ex-wife, I was 49 years old, and I suddenly found myself living on a friend's couch. I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to live or how I was going to make a living. Not only was I going through the emotional devastation of a sudden divorce, I was physically in a huge amount of pain. I had joint pain, back pain, crippling muscle spasms, debilitating tendinitis. I was applying for disability. I had no savings and very little income. I was only making a few $100s a month from book sales. I was looking at the possibility of getting old, and I had no way to support myself, and I was in way too much pain to work. Just a few weeks earlier, I was living in a huge, brand new 5-bedroom, 2-story house with an attached studio where I taught martial arts and shamanism. And now, suddenly, I was broke, sick, in pain, and living on someone else's couch. But having all of my security blankets suddenly taken away from me gave me a lot of freedom. And that's how I chose to look at it. Even though I had lost all my material possessions, I had gained total freedom. Since I no longer had to meet the expectations of my wife, my parents, my clients, and even my dog, I was completely free and totally I was completely free to totally reinvent my life from scratch. How did I want to live? Where did I want to live? What did I want to do? I did something that had helped me several times in the past. I chose to ignore the seemingly miserable state of my current circumstances, and I asked myself, if I could do anything and live anywhere, what would I do and where would I live? One thing on my bucket list was to live in a cabin, deep in the woods, away from society, and write books and make videos. So, even though I had no money and couldn't afford it, I used what little credit I had to borrow enough money to put down a first and last month's rent on a cabin deep in the woods in North Idaho. I found the cabin of my dreams. It was the last cabin on an isolated dirt road 20 miles from the nearest town, beneath the Selkirk Mountains, situated right on the banks of a rushing river. My property line was the boundary to the national forest. Moose, elk, deer, bald eagles, and grizzly bears were my neighbors. It was perfect. I won't bore you with all the details, but the amazing wilderness setting of the cabin allowed me to begin working furiously on my books, and I was able to get started working as a phone counselor. I wasn't making very much money, but somehow I was able to survive and began rebuilding my life. Living in that cabin deep in the woods of northern Idaho was simultaneously one of the most lonely yet exciting times in my life. After almost a year, I had sufficiently scratched that itch of living deep in the wilderness by myself. Previously in my life, I had wondered if I belonged living alone in the forest like a hermit. Now, I had fulfilled that long-held desire, and I was ready to return to society. I won't take up space here with all the amazing experiences I had in that beautiful forest cabin. What is important for you to know is that by fearlessly going after one of my long-held dreams, I was unknowingly following the secret commandment, and my life began to completely transform. I was reborn. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. We'll pick it up next time with chapter 3, why secret commandment, in quotes. Why secret commandment. So we'll pick it up there next time. And, so yeah, it was a pleasure reading for you guys today. And I am going to go ahead and end it there. Now, if you are not familiar with my channel, I would highly recommend that you please subscribe and like the button. Hit the like button and all that good stuff. Really helps the channel. This will be a series, so you need to subscribe to stay tuned for the future readings of this. I'll do one a day, usually in about 30-minute segments, and I estimate it'll take me about, maybe 6 episodes of this to get through it. So yeah, it's a pretty short book, so if you're interested, I have the link down in the description to his Amazon page, so go check that out. Alright guys, well, I have a bunch of things to offer you, Vedic astrology readings, all that good stuff. Tantric Secrets of Vedic Astrology, my book. If you're interested in Vedic astrology, check that out. I also offer career coaching and life coaching and all that good stuff, so if you're interested, my website is gebotheshaman.com. Alright, so anyway guys, that does it for me, so if you're interested in anything that I have to offer, I would greatly appreciate any business that keeps the channel alive. It really does help me and support me and help me pay my bills. And as this book says, follow your secret, follow the commandment, your deepest passions. So this YouTube channel is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, so help me out. I would greatly appreciate it. Alright guys, well, pleasure, and hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.